And that's Storm Rider by Iced Earth off of Days of Purgatory. Before that, Ed Guy with The Piper Never Dies off of Hellfire Club. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. You are listening to WVLP in Valparaiso, Indiana. Hopefully your radio says 103.1 FM, and if it doesn't, something's wrong with it, because that's what it should say. And you might also be streaming us on WVLP.org, or if you have one of those cell phone things, maybe you're listening on the TuneIn Radio app. Have about 30 minutes left to go of Mostly Metal, and at 9:30, this will become the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. And I have a special guest who's going to be talking wrestling with me pretty intently in 30 minutes, but he's already in the studio, and so I'm gonna let him pick some tunes here. I'm going to let you pick some tracks. I have.
I see what you did there.
It's Diesel Tracks, Tracz. How did I do?
You're the first guy to get it right.
Excellent.
The first one.
Okay, I didn't even practice or anything.
Nah, and your name's not Eric King, so I automatically already like you more than most people.
Well, thank you. So thanks for coming in. I'm looking forward to talking wrestling in a little while. In the meantime, we've got some tunes to listen to, and so I'm going to let you help me out here. Everything sounds good?
Absolutely. I wonder, what about...
You're comfortable? We got anything Sabbathy or Iron Maiden or Judas Priest. I can probably pull something up for you. Blue Oyster Cult. Not that I'm saying you're old.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I'm going old school, but I'm not saying that you're old.
Understandable. Yeah. What about Run to the Hills?
Run to the Hills, huh? Excellent. All right, I
dig that song.
Got to click through to that disc, so I'm stalling. There we go. All right, so we'll listen to Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden, and then after that, a track by a band called Artemis, and it's called The Vampire Strikes Back. That was Shadow Gallery with the Andromeda Strain off of Room 5, and before that, Artemis with The Vampire Strikes Back off of Back from the Heat. I have about 10 more minutes left here on Mostly Metal. I'm here with Diesel Tracks, who's waiting patiently to talk wrestling and tell us all about what's been going on in Pro Wrestling King in his life lately.
You were 2 for 2 for that name, too. That's pretty impressive.
Sweet. I'm glad. I'm glad it's working out. It's only 5 letters, so I can work with it.
You would think. You want
to help me pick out one more tune?
Sure, let's see.
I can give you some Judas Priest or some Blue Oyster Cult or some Black Sabbath, or I could just have you pick between a couple of different countries or letters of the alphabet or something like that.
Well, let's see, because if we do Black Sabbath and we say War Pigs, then we're being kind of cliche almost.
Not enough time for War Pigs, because that's like a 7-minute song.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a really long one. What about Bark at the Moon? That'd be just Ozzy, though, I think.
That is just Ozzy. Okay. Coincidentally, I have that CD because
look at that.
I played Slow Down off of that in the first hour. So playing Bark at the Moon itself is not a bad idea.
See, there you go.
There we go. Now, the theme for tonight's show is now Ozzy Osbourne, because we've heard
Why not?
2 tracks. Excellent. Excellent with the setup there. So I'm going to play something by a group called Candlemass, which will sound very much Black Sabbath-like, very slow and doomy and depressing, and then we'll finish up with Bark at the Moon, and then it's going to be time to talk wrestling.
So slow and doomy and depressing like Eric King's life.
There you go.
I got it.
So, Eric, this song is for you. This is At the Gallows End by Candlemass. And that was Bark at the Moon, the title track of that CD, scratch that, record. It was a record when it first came out by Ozzy Osbourne. Any guesses as to what year? Do you remember what year that was?
78?
Not that old.
82.
83. There you go. Not too bad. So yeah, I was a junior in high school when this thing came out. Don't start doing math now, though. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. That wraps up Mostly Metal. I'm here with my guest, Diesel Tracks, and we are just about to start talking wrestling as this becomes the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
right, it's us again, the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. I'm here with Diesel Troxy. Thank you very much for coming to visit WVLP.
Well, thank you for having me, Mr. Luther. I appreciate it.
You bet. This is going to be fun. You've got some interesting stories to tell about what's been going on with you and Pro Wrestling King pretty recently. Before we dive into that, because that could probably get pretty deep and lengthy here, we'll probably spend a good portion of our half hour, if I can beg your indulgence.
Potentially angry, too.
That's okay.
Just throw it out there.
I've removed all the breakables from your vicinity here.
Thanks.
I want to just run down some of the other local shows that are coming up in this region. This is the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, so whenever something's going on nearby here within like an hour and a half, I like to keep tabs on it. And in a perfect world, I'd go to all these shows, but, you just can't. So, in fact, I feel really bad. There were two shows really, really close just this weekend. So Fire Pro Wrestling had an outdoor show, right, at Impact Christian Church. And I didn't even know about that one until like the day right before the day that it was going to happen. And also ARW Pro ran a show at their home base, the American Legion in Lake Station. Both of those were on this past Saturday, but I didn't get out to either one of those. But there's plenty of chances coming up because it's a pretty busy season in the area for a lot of the groups that run shows. So coming up next weekend, there's actually a couple of different shows on Saturday, August 19th. One of them's kind of far away. It's Functified Wrestling out in Warsaw. They will be running a show called Firestorm at 7 o'clock Eastern Time in Warsaw, Indiana. But that's drivable from here for a nice night of wrestling.
Absolutely.
As long as you spend more time watching the wrestling than you spend in the car getting there and back, it's a good deal. So that's about an hour and 15 minutes from here. So like 2.5 hours in the car. As long as the show's 2.5 hours or more, then it's perfect. That same night, and here's a show that we might be talking about, the Pro Wrestling King Hot and Spicy 2 up in Niles, Michigan at Fisher's Tips and Chips. So probably get a good bite to eat as well as see the show. We'll talk about that one soon. Friday, August 25th, RCW Full Throttle at the Battelle Community Center in Mishawaka, and that's a great place to see a show. I've been to a couple of RCW shows at that venue, and it's a nice place to go. Good sight lines, good sound.
Very cool building. Very cool building.
It's really neat. More Pro Wrestling King Monterey Days coming up on September 2nd in downtown Monterey, Indiana. This is part of a town festival, so it's going to be free. So, yeah, no reason not to go check that out. And then we're getting farther into September, another ARW Pro show. This one's going to be at Edison High School in Lake Station on September 9th. And a couple of new promotions cropping up in the area. Black Label Pro. They're going to be running a show in Crown Point on Saturday, September 23rd. And Backbreaker Wrestling coming up in October in Griffith. And we'll hopefully have a lot more information about that down the line. So it's like high wrestling season going. Start of the school season and the start of the wrestling season. So just in the next month or so, we got 4 or 5 different promotions running a show within the next 4 or 5 weeks.
It's all those end of summer festivals and all those things start to happen, and people can't wait to go out and see people beat each other up.
Well, it's a good way to spend your afternoon and evening, isn't it?
Go take your son to watch somebody get punched in the mouth. It's a good time.
It's we say that a little flippantly, but what is it about wrestling that, I go and I sit at a show and I'm watching people beat each other up, and for some reason it just feels so right. I don't know what it is, but
primal instinct, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so.
Watching a guy get kicked in the face is a good time, I guess.
Yeah, well, I just spent 90 minutes listening to heavy metal.
See, there you go.
Go figure. There's no accounting for taste, I suppose. So we're here so that we can talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been happening with respect to you and the Pro Wrestling King organization, which you've been a part of for quite some time now in various different roles. But it seems like pretty recently things went a little bit south in terms of your relationship with the organization. And so maybe we can, I will try to stay as impartial as I can, kind of dig into that a little bit and talk about where that sort of built up from. Because I've been to PWK shows for quite a while, and it seemed like when I got to see you perform, you were having a good time, and then something switched. So what started kind of churning that made that happen?
Well, I think long story short, I mean, people that got to see the video on Facebook, they got to hear some of the things I said in Niles. And simply put, in terms of Pro Wrestling King, I'd say I've been there since about day one. Myself, the person that helped me get into the business, and in general, a couple other people, we sat down, we came up with a plan. The plan was to put together a company that could help young guys especially get out other places, get their name out, get better, get to possibly, fight some guys who maybe they wouldn't get to fight any other way. And the more that went on, the more Eric King decided that he was going to pick and choose his favorites. And what happened was then he started having no respect for himself or anybody else that was involved. All of a sudden, it became a deal where if he liked you, you could do whatever you wanted. Case in point, our heavyweight champion, the Kingdom champion, who shows up when he feels like it. He goes to other shows. He can't make it for whatever reason. He shows up when he wants to. That's not tolerated anywhere else. But somehow Eric King makes that okay. Meanwhile, you get a guy like, say, a Tony Thunder, who works his butt off, does things, maybe couldn't show up here and there for some personal reasons. And when he decides to further his career, go better, Eric decides to go all over Facebook and make fun of him. They want to take pictures with a teddy bear, and they think that's cute. It's not cute. I've already told people several times, if I ever see that teddy bear and I get a hold of it, I'm setting it on fire. I've made that very clear. That's why they hide it from me. We had a show last week in Sturgis. I didn't see that bear anywhere when I was around. Because I think they know. And, I mean, I'm not going to feel like a tough guy because I set a bear on fire. But it's more the symbolic gesture of the thing. It's not fair the way some things get treated. And I know not fair sounds real whiny. But it's the truth. There's a lot of young guys who deserve a lot better than what they're getting. And if you take even last week into account again, Eric pretends to care about these young guys, and he clearly doesn't. I jumped on Jaden Quick just because. I wanted to see what he would do. I beat him up once. Then he decided he wanted to have a match with me because he's clearly stupid. Because, okay, not only one, does he listen to anything Eric tells him, two, he puts himself in a match with me and he thinks it's going to be a wrestling match. I'm not an idiot. If Jaden Quick and I wrestled 100 times, he'd probably beat me 99. If we wrestled. He probably wrestled in high school, I don't know. But in a fist fight, Jaden Quick's not going to beat me up. And what happened the whole night? He got beat up. Now, some people watch the match and think, oh, well, at the end, Tony Thunder had to save you. He didn't save me. He saved me from killing Jaden is what he did. But the whole time that match went on, Eric sat in that corner and he clapped and he waved his pom-poms, but never made a move one to help Jaden. He didn't ask for them to ring the bell. He didn't try to stop anything. Worse yet, he hired me back. That's the plan. That's his plan. Hire me back. Makes perfect sense to me, I guess.
Well, so for folks that that may not be following PWK kind of on a month-to-month, show-to-show basis, we try to set the story here. So you're talking about your experience, and then also Tony Thunder. Seemed both of you together. When I'd seen you guys before, he seemed like pretty pleased with what was going on, having a good time working the shows. But something's changed, and you're getting into where you're going to bat for not only yourself and Tony, but a lot of the younger guys that you feel are not getting treated right. And so there was a show recently. It was in Niles, the first Niles show, where it seemed like things kind of came to a head. In fact, there's video online entitled "Holding Up the Show" on YouTube that was posted by Eric King. And actually, would you mind if we listen to some
absolutely.
of that? Because I think it might be good to help folks listen to what was going on and setting the stage. So what you're going to hear, if I can find this thing.
Yeah, holding up the show is what he called it. Yeah.
I think you might have called it making a point.
Mm-hmm. That's what that was.
So what you're going to hear is you, and you get the most honesty in the heat of the moment. So what we're going to hear is kind of your honest thoughts about what's been going on and what's kind of come to a head here. And then we'll hear Jaden Quick come into the ring and try to talk you down a little bit. And then there will be a couple of loud noises. And when that happens, we can, you can kind of explain what took place there.
Let's hear it for all these superstars, folks.
I would like to say good evening, but it's not. Ladies and gentlemen who are new to Pro Wrestling King, those that have been here with us for years, maybe you don't know this, but sometimes my name is Cheddar Blansky. Sometimes my name is Kip Michaels. I was there the night they invented Pro Wrestling King, the night we named it. I was at BW3s with everybody that night when we put it all together. And the idea is to take young guys who needed a shot and give them one. Treat them all equal. Let them go out other places and make a name, Eric. They made a name. They weren't supposed to be a joke, Eric. Tony Thunder's not a joke. Steven Trotner's not a joke, Eric. When I decided to be Cheddar Blansky, I knew that way I could get in the office. I could keep people safe. I could control the crazies, like Trotner, like Psycho Sullivan, those guys. I could help guys like Teddy Storm, who didn't even have the balls to be here. He's the champion of this company and had no class to show up for any of you. And what does Eric do with him? He congratulates him. He pats him on the back.
Kip. Stop, bro.
What?
Hey. Cool, man. Cool. Let me talk. Hey, Kip, I don't know where all this is coming from. We've been cool. We've been cool for the last 3 or 4 years. We brought me into PWK. Talk to Eric. Eric's done a lot for us, man. He put you in charge of some of the guys in back, helping the younger talent like I was. I don't know what's gotten into you, man. I know you haven't been around at PWK as much lately. Hey, just take home. Go, man.
Wait a minute, Jay. A couple weeks ago, you guys, Tony Thunder came out and he put a video up on Facebook. It was one of the best interviews anybody anywhere around here has done in years. And fact is, he looked Eric King dead in the eyes through a Facebook message and called him his father. He called him a dad. And Eric left him out to dry. I don't know if any of you ever grew up without a father. It hurts. And it hurts bad, Eric. No kid deserves that. But
Bro, I know it's was hot out here, and it's probably getting you, man. But, you just keep going, bro. I know I talked to Tony about the same. Is it working now? Thank you. I know Tony's I've been talking to Tony too. I know you guys letting it get to you, man. Letting it get to you. Eric's been cool to us. Eric's been cool. Get Tony a title match. Still getting the title matches, man. So just keep cool. I know it's really hot out here, bro. So just, take a breather, man. Take a breather. I can walk you out to the back, bro. Get drinks after the show. All right?
Jaden, I'm sorry. You guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come interrupt your show. I'm going through some stuff, and this is kind of where we're at, okay? I'm sorry. That's on you, King! That's on you! This is on you!
Hello?
That's on you!
That's pretty good timing
Hello?
here. Hello? Eric, you there?
Yeah, this is Eric.
Okay, so this was actually pretty good timing here because we just finished listening to, I guess we can call it the incident at the first Niles show, where Diesel, as your video title put it, held up the show for a while to try to make some points, and we just got to the point where Jaden Quick tried to intervene and was DDT'd for it, and so it's. on the phone with us here on WVLP now is Eric King, the head promoter of Pro Wrestling King. And, well, what's going on, Eric?
Hey, doing good tonight, Ken. How you doing?
All right. As you know, I'm sitting here with Diesel. And after that incident, you fired him, if I have that storyline right.
Yeah, he forced my hand. There's really nothing else I could do in that situation.
Okay.
He hasn't seen forced his hand yet. He hasn't seen that yet. It's coming, but he hasn't seen it yet.
So we have another show at this same location coming up next weekend, August 19th. In between the show that you just heard the sound from and August 19th, there have been a couple more developments. So after Eric King had released Diesel from Pro Wrestling King, well, can you tell us what happened at that point to bring you back in?
Oh, well, that's easy. I beat Jaden Quick up again in front of Eric and his family and his friends. And in their infinite wisdom, they decided the best thing to do for them is to hire me back. I don't know if that's because they thought maybe they could keep a better eye on me that way. Maybe then they'd know if I'd be somewhere or not. But it was a bad move either way.
Eric, are you able to hear Diesel from his microphone? Eric, did we lose you?
Yeah, I couldn't hear what he was saying there.
Uh-oh. Okay. So that could be a problem here, which I don't know if I can fix. You should be able to hear the sound from all the microphones, but basically the open question is, and so Diesel has answered the question one way, and as long as you can hear me, I guess I'll have to be the interpreter here. Having fired him, what made you decide to bring him back?
The reason I brought him back is Jaden requested it. He wanted to stick back up for Pro Wrestling King, and he demanded. And Jaden's been one of the great guys for our company, and I go to bat for guys when they want me to. So I gave Jaden exactly what he wanted.
Okay, and so that culminated in a recent show where Diesel took on Jaden, and then at the end of the match there was interference from Tony Thunder, who also seems to be not very happy with things at the moment, and that caused a disqualification in the match. And Diesel, what's happened then and since then?
Well, interference is kind of an ugly way to put that. But what happened there is Tony decided it was time for him to also make a statement. And it's interesting because people don't think that Tony and I, this whole thing has been going on for a while. This has been an idea for a minute. It's not new. Well, Jaden was the first victim of the situation. And the problem is Jaden is just wrong place, wrong time. That's all this is. Jaden drinks the Eric Kool-Aid. And you could, if you just listen carefully to the video from the 19th. Well, not the 19th, I'm sorry, from Niles, the last show. You can hear him drinking the Kool-Aid while he's talking. Oh, Eric's a great guy. Eric's a great guy. Is he? Is he a great guy? You put Eric in front of the gun, man. And then Jaden's right in front of the firing squad. You put him in the ring with me. What did you think I was going to do to him? So then Tony shows up, and we finish it. We're going to end it completely. Jaden wasn't going to go home to his family. And Eric was going to have to explain to his family why. And then Jared Kripke shows up out of nowhere. I don't know if Eric sent him. I don't know if Jared and Jaden played Madden on the weekends. I don't know. But I know Jared Kripke needs to not put himself on this list. Jared Kripke is a wonderful athlete with a bright future. But it gets real short real fast if he puts himself in a situation that he doesn't want to be in.
So, Eric, again, were you able to hear much of that? Awkward silence.
We call that selective hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just came back over to the computer and was listening to what he was saying there.
Okay. So, can you tell us what do you have in mind coming up this next show in Niles on the 19th? What situation are you going to have between Diesel and Tony and Jaden and possibly Jared Kripke? Or
It's
somebody
Sedan
else?
this
Oh,
time.
Sedan.
Oh,
Right.
that's another one. Oh. They just keep adding to the list, man. Their choice. They can do what they want to do.
Okay. So it's
Yeah, Sedan came out and helped Jaden at the Texas Roadhouse.
So, Eric, can you tell us a little bit about what, do you hope for some sort of resolution to this at this upcoming show? What do you hope to have happen?
Well, I hope to that Jaden Quick and Sedan can put Traxie and Thunder in their place. They're obviously. I hope.
So it seems like this phone experiment isn't working as well as it did the last time I tried to use it. So
It's probably Eric's phone's fault.
well, it's that long distance,
Yeah,
long distance call. Okay. So Eric, I think we lost you again. So I'm gonna pull the plug on the cell phone, and we'll see if maybe after the show we can get you back on the air to talk about anything lingering afterwards. Who knows what's going to happen, but maybe we'll check back in with you then to see what your thoughts are and whether things turned out the way you hoped. So whether you can hear me or not, thanks for calling in, and I'm gonna figure out why he couldn't hear both of our microphones, or I'm not gonna figure it out. I'm gonna ask the people at the station to figure it out.
A person of a higher pay grade in the technological department.
The pay grade around here is all the same. It's who has the most skill.
Well, there you
with
go.
that. So anyway, I have a couple of clips that we can still play
Absolutely.
if you think it's worthwhile. So if you like, we can listen to Tony in his own words, give his basically air his grievances the way you kind of have with the promo that you had mentioned before, and then we can also listen to what both of you guys have to say about this upcoming show. Does that sound like a plan?
That'll work.
Okay. So first coming up here is Tony Thunder. This is probably about a couple of months ago at this point, but it still does a good job to sum up what's going through his mind.
We're getting a lot of Facebook messages of people asking me, Tony Thunder, I've never seen you so upset. What's on your mind? So instead of addressing everyone individually, I thought I'd address the issue firsthand. And that issue is you, Eric King. Eric, I considered you a father-like figure. I considered you a dad to the boys in the back, who only wanted my best interest at heart. But in reality, you're just a deadbeat who really doesn't have any interest in me at all. Or do you remember when the Spirit versus Everybody squad left me high and dry? You remember what you told me when Keenan and Kale left me at home to hit the road with guys who weren't even wrestling at the time? You remember what you told me? You told me those guys were no good bullies and that you look out for me. But who have you really looked out for? Let's compare. You've given Ren and Stimpy tag team title matches. You've given them legends to work with, Century Center shows. You're even cheesing hella hard with them on their profile picture, just having a good old time. And they've done nothing but try to make your life a living hell. And what have you done for me? You booked me against a Russian marshmallow man. You put me in 5-man tags, 10-man tags, 20-man tags, battle royals. You even stripped the title from me because I didn't want to come to a show where I wasn't defending the title. And what did you tell everyone? You told everyone I respectfully relinquished the title because I couldn't make the show. Eric, there's been 2 champions since you've taken that title from me. And I've yet to receive a rematch for the title that's rightfully mine that I've never lost. And after all of this, and after my actions in Sturgis this past Saturday, you have the nerve, you have the audacity to ask me if I'm going to be in Milton, Indiana, June 3rd? Eric, I'll be there. Just for you. Because if giving you hell is what it takes to get respect around here, then let me let you in on a little secret, Eric. Let me tell you something. Get real close. I've been in hell for quite a while now. And I've been saving you a seat. You say you want to see me shine one day? That means you don't realize how bright of a star I am right now standing in your face. Eric, since you don't want to give me what's mine, I'm coming to take it. And my reign as champion is going to be a storm that you never forget. Because the rain always follows the thunder.
So it seems like you and Tony are both kind of in the similar frame of mind. And so can you kind of talk about what your, I don't know if I want to call it end game, or what kind of outcome do you hope you want? Because it doesn't seem like you're chasing gold. It seems more like you're just trying to make sure there's an equitable amount of respect and opportunity for people. But what kind of outcome are you hoping for?
I'll be real honest with you. I'm very interested in a fair playing field. But even more than that, I really want Eric King to jump up and be a man. That's what I really want. I've watched Eric watch other companies come and roll over him and cost guys opportunities. I've watched Eric let guys pretty much to tell him they're going to do whatever they want. People think I'm having fun. I'm not having fun with this. I don't enjoy beating Jaden Quick up. If we would have finished what we started with Jaden last Saturday in Sturgis, I wouldn't have felt good about it. But I don't know what else to do. Eric doesn't hear words. He doesn't hear when you tell him things. So we're going to be forced to show him. It's not fun. This is killing me inside. Pro Wrestling King is my home. Like, I've done everything I could. I fought for that place. Eric doesn't care. Eric wants to book people in matches against chickens and gorillas. That's what he wants to do. That's cute to him. That's fun for him. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for the guys I'm trying to look out for. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to make examples out of people. And like I told Eric last week, we will lay every broken body at his doorstep. Because then he can look at them. And he can ask himself, do I care? Am I that? You heard him when he said, I like to go to bat for guys. Well, go to bat for him, Eric. Stop us. That's all you got to do. Walk down to the ring, stand in front of us, and tell us no more. We'll no longer stand for this. That's all you got to do. Or you can do what you've been doing, which is keep feeding the beast. You just keep throwing him in front of us, and we're just going to keep mowing him down. And the worst part is you keep doing it to these young guys. These young guys who, they're just starting. They're just getting their feet wet. And they're not going to be the same when it's over. It's going to be really hard for Jared Kripke to fly with 2 broken legs. It's really going to be hard for Saddam to be the best anywhere when he can't walk without a cane. And Jaden, love the kid. He's got a wife and kid at home. He's got a wife and several kids at home, actually. And when he can't pick them up, when he can't play with them, Eric's going to have to look their family in the face and ask and tell them, this is why this happened. I'm the reason. That's the end game. That's it.
All right. Well, as a fan of PWK, I'm hoping that you guys can find some common ground or some resolution to this so that it doesn't damage the promotion overall to the point where it becomes kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So let's hope some good things come out of a bad situation. Coming up this weekend is the next time to find out if that might be the case. And so the show we're talking about coming up is Pro Wrestling King. It's Hot and Spicy 2. And there is a good thing coming out of this because the event itself is a Pack-a-Backpack fundraiser. So even with, with some of the undercurrents that are there, it's still a good cause, no matter what else. And if people come to the show, they get $2 off the admission if they make a donation to this Pack-a-Backpack fundraiser. The location for this is Fisher's Tips and Chips in Niles, Michigan, and it's a 5 o'clock Eastern start time. So anybody coming out from Valpo, that's 4 o'clock our time. So it's going to be an afternoon instead of an evening. So if you have any last thing to say, we can go there. Otherwise, what I think we'll do is finish up with just listening to what you and Tony have to say in a clip that's available on YouTube about this show and what your plans are coming up, and then we'll let it ride into Punk Rock Radio after this thing's done.
Definitely. Well, I feel one thing I did want to get into real quick is that I felt like maybe Sadan was a little underrepresented in this. We've not really talked about him. And he's going to be involved in this tag massacre that's going to happen on Saturday. Sadan is the EHF heavyweight champion, and he's as talented as anybody around. But he's put himself in a really bad situation, just like Jared Kripke did. But Sadan took it another step further. Jared Kripke put his body in between Tony Thunder and myself when it came to taking Jaden where we wanted to take him. Sadan decided to come with a chair and start swinging. To me, that's a fight. So Sadan wants to fight. I like that. I do. I like that. Because I don't want to beat a guy up who doesn't want to fight me. But the thing is, Sadan's another one. I don't think he understands what he's getting into. He's going to bat for Eric King for unknown reasons. But EHF is going to be very upset if Sadan can't defend his title anymore. But that's not my problem.
Okay. So, Diesel Tanoxy and... oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Tony Thunder versus Sadan
and Jaden Quick.
Jaden Quick. This Saturday, August 19th, PWK Hot and Spicy 2. And we'll leave you with what Diesel and Tony have to say, again, available on a clip on YouTube. Call it, what's the title of it? The Defenders of PWK. You can find it on YouTube under that title. And I don't know if I'll have time to play the whole thing, but at least maybe get a flavor of it. Coming up next here on WVLP right after this will be Punk Rock Radio.
Every man in the world has to decide what mountain he's willing to die on. You know mine now. Saturday night, Jaden Quick, handled. Jared Kripke decided he wanted to be involved. Jared, don't make that mistake. Don't get laid down at Eric's doorstep. Jaden's already made his bet. Sunday, Jaden Quick, once again. Tony Thunder, Diesel Tanoxy, Jaden Quick lays in a pool of blood. All of a sudden, Sadan, the best in the world, the EHF heavyweight champion. Now, you're on the list, kid. They told us August 19th, Fisher's Barbecue in Niles, Michigan, where everything started. It's gonna be Diesel Tanoxy, Tony Thunder against, I'm guessing, the defender of the PWK, Jaden Quick, and like the best in the world, because I guess Niles and South Bend are the world, Sadan.
Look, I'm gonna keep it real simple. Jaden, you sticking up for Eric is the worst mistake you've ever made. And you've learned that. Not just Saturday night, not just tonight, but you're gonna learn it come August 19th in Niles, Michigan. You see, getting your mouth bust tonight just wasn't enough for you, apparently. And you got friends who've been coming in trying to save you at the last second by the skin of your ass, but the truth is, there's more meat on that bone. So August 19th, get all the friends you can, gear them up, get them ready, have them come out. Bring as many as you want. Because when it's all said and done, we are going to prove to not only you, not only to Eric, but to the rest of PWK and to the rest of management, the guys in the back, the monkeys in the truck, you name it. Moms, dads, sisters, uncles, cousins, ducks, athletes, Manny Fresh. It doesn't matter. You stepped to the wrong ones. We've made it known. And now we're going to prove it.
Eric King, it's real simple. Are you willing to walk into Jaden Quick's house? Are you willing to walk into Sadon's house? Are you willing to walk into Jared Kripke's house and tell their family why they're not coming home?
It's your fault.
You are listening to 103.1 WVLP LP in Valparaiso.
Devo's in the house. Punk Rock Radio's back on the air. I'm almost set up. I'm a little more ahead than I usually am. So, yeah, enjoy this neck while I finish up.